Africa, wherever, doesn't matter. Understand that you are the key to this change. But when we say that all past leaders failed, not because of their vision, but because of their ignorance. Understand that you are bright, you are smart. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Welcome to this session. I am Annie Charles Pius, and here with me is the founder of Joint Africa International. Please, sir, can we meet you?
Thank you very much, Annie, for coming over.
You're welcome.
My name is Ken Tuka, and as you rightly mentioned, I am the founder of the Joint Africa Project International. Thank you.
Today, we're going to be asking him a few questions to find out more about him and Joint Africa Project Scholarship, JAP. I believe it's going to be an interesting conversation. Sir, let me start by asking, please, can you tell our viewers more about yourself and what inspired the Joint Africa Project?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. What inspired the Joint Africa Project? First, I am a businessman, and over the last 13 years, we've built a number of businesses from Nigeria to the United States, and we've been privileged to work with hundreds of people over the years. And some of our companies have been very successful by the grace of God. And we've been living in a bubble, so to say, such that one day, I think that was in 2022, I went to somewhere at Colcam. It's close to the office. Usually the mechanic will come to pick up the vehicle from the office to service them and all that. So, but on this day, I decided to just go there myself. I don't know what led me to that, but I didn't know that my life was about to change. So on getting to that place, I dropped it off the vehicle and decided to take a walk around the neighborhood. On strolling down a shallow valley, I saw an incredible sight. I saw people living in what we call squalor in English language, extreme poverty. I saw people living in a condition that animals, I wouldn't let a dog, if I have a dog, when I used to have a dog, I wouldn't let my dog live in such an environment. But humans were living there. Then close to this neighborhood is a drainage, extremely dirty, with a lot of feces. You see rats in broad daylight moving around. And that would be the perfect environment for mosquitoes. So seeing that, I saw some young people outside their, so to say, homes, makeshift homes. They use tires, car carpets to, put together with sticks. They were outside. If you look at their faces, you see that these people they feel hopeless about life. And I was standing there watching this community. I bowed down my head, and I'm not a very emotional person, but I got emotional. Tears did not drop, but when I left that place and back to my office, I was wondering, so a place like this exists close to the office? So on getting back, I spent a great deal of time thinking about it. Weeks passed, I couldn't get this out of my mind. I was thinking every day. So human beings live here. At some point, I broke down in tears. I cried. I said, God, if you can bless me, I will not see people living in this kind of situation and not build out excellent neighborhoods for them to live. And when I was thinking about it, I went to see my spiritual director. He's an Anglican venerable, Arinze Egemba. So I went to see him. I told him the things I saw, and he told me that he thinks God is leading me to do something, that it's a call, it's a mission. I said, okay. I said, okay, for the first part, I want to just go there and give them some food and all that. So I bought bags of rice, called some people in the church, some cows, slaughtered them, bought ground oil, all those things. You know, portions that families can use for a few days. So we went there to distribute. So after the distribution, I came back. I was thinking about it. I said, what I saw there is not what giving them food will solve. It's not a problem food will solve. It's a problem that equipping their mind with what brought me out of where I was before in my village to where I am today. That is what it's going to what's going to solve that problem. So it's not a matter of giving them food, giving them fish. You don't give people like that. For how long will you keep giving them food? Can you handle that? So I realized that the tool that they need is to be educated. Education can bring a child or a youth from a low estate where they are nobody to become somebody. This is what education has done for me. It's beyond having a job, it's beyond having a business. It opens up your mind to possibilities. So when I was thinking about that, then sometime the beginning of this year, I went into prayers because over the years I've been privileged to have made some good money, and I've gotten bored with making money and building businesses. I said life is beyond just making money, get money, live in a good house, in a good neighborhood and all that. There should be more to life. So I went to God in prayers. I'm someone who fasts a lot. Fasting is like my way of life. It clears up my mind beyond spirituality. It clears up my mind. It helps me to see things the way they really are. So I went to God in prayers. I spent about 30 days in a fast. Out of those 30 days, I think I spent about 15 days without anything food, just water. When I decided to now take food was when I couldn't climb the staircase again. My feet couldn't carry me. I said, no, I need to eat something before I die. And when I die now, the mission will not be accomplished. So when I was in the process of the fast, this came from a friend. And the friend told me something about scholarships for African kids. He said Nigerian kids. I thought about it. I said, this is something exciting. I thought about it again. I saw possibilities. I shouted. I told him I can see something bigger than just scholarships. That this is an avenue to change the African continent. This is an avenue to educate our people. Make them know who they are. Because when you know who you are, nobody can trample upon you again. If you know, for instance, that I sent, say, 5 million naira to your account, and you are in need of money to pay your house rent, once you know that, there is a confidence that comes into you. But if I send that 5 million to you and you don't even know that I've sent you 5 million, you'll still be panicking that your landlord is coming to chase you away from your apartment. So this is what education does. If people get educated, they begin to understand, I'm not who these people say I am. I am not, my skin color doesn't define who I am. In fact, my background has nothing to do with who I am. I can become whoever I want to be. So, on that, previously in 2022, we registered the Kent Hooker Foundation. But honestly, I didn't do that because of name. I don't even want my name to be in anything. It's just that vision. So the charity foundation Kent Hooker was designed to reach out to all these communities with food and all that. So we give a part of our company's earnings to, reach out to communities, widows, poor people, destitute people and all that. So, but then I said, when I was thinking about it, after the prayers and the vision was coming, I realized that this is way bigger than setting up a charity foundation that is giving people food. So now we came up with the Joint Africa Project International. Now, the Joint Africa Project International, it's a non-governmental organization registered in the US, in California, because that's where most of our businesses are domiciled. So now it's also registered in other African countries. Now, the Joint Africa Project is designed primarily to educate the African youth. Now, I've realized that this is not something I myself can do alone. And it's not something an organization can do alone. It's not even something a country like, say, Nigeria can do alone. And it's not something a portion of Africa can do alone. It's something it requires the entirety of Africa. The joint hands of Africans coming together to say we want to educate our people. We want to equip them with the knowledge and wisdom they need to get our people from where they are right now to where they need to be. Because China, some 50 years ago, China was in similar situation as Africa. They were extremely poor. But through education, they were sending their children abroad, sending them to top universities across the world, let them learn the wisdom of the West, bring it back home, start developing their place. Today, look at China. So China did something very brilliant. In fact, Eastern countries, Singapore, Malaysia, a lot of them, they've done this beautifully well. So if they can do it, we can do it. This is what gave birth to the Joint Africa Project International. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. When going through the website, one will notice that you have paid much emphasis on the African youth. Why the youth, sir?
Okay. You know, if you ask the average person, why do you think Africa is very rich? They will tell you mineral resources, that we are rich in gold from the Gold Coast, or from South African mines, or somewhere in the northern Nigeria. Or they tell you we have so much oil, gas, mineral resources. That may be true to some extent, but the biggest resources Africa has, it's its people. Most especially the youth of Africa. This is why you see there is a strategic migration of the youth of Africa to Western countries around the world. All of them are moving out. They are being, you see other countries opening up doors, come in. The educated Africans come in. They are mining that human, that's what we call it, human resources. So Africans are blessed with human capital. Did you know that today, 1 out of every 5 persons in the world is an African? And it's been predicted by statistics that by 2050, 1 out of every 4 persons on earth will be an African. What does that tell you? Africa is growing. Its people are growing. But we are still not where we ought to be as a people. So we want to awaken the youth. I can see some of the other organizations are doing it already, and I'm grateful. It's not something only the Joint Africa Project can do. We are very happy to have other organizations working on this. And we are not even concerned about being the only organization doing this. We are interested in the African people being liberated. Africa as it is today, we are seen as a third-class citizen. We are seen as third-class citizens in the world. An African, by the virtue of their skin, will pass through some international airports. They will be called to a different room to look at their passports severally. Another person with a lighter skin will pass by. That person could be a criminal. Nobody will look at them because we are Africans. I mean, I've traveled around the world and I've seen this with my eyes, and it makes me very, very angry. It pisses me off that, because of my skin color, you have to scrutinize me again to be sure that I am not a criminal, or that my passport hasn't expired, or my visa hasn't expired. I mean, it's an insult to the African people. Africans are very smart people. Trust me, the young people of Africa are extremely bright and brilliant. Can I also tell you something? Civilization, the modern day civilization, started from Africa in Egypt. And the Egyptians of those days were dark skinned like me and you. I don't want to go there today. But what I'm seeing in essence is that the wealth of the African people lies in its people, and its people are the youth. We have about 1.1 billion youth in Africa below the age of 30. From 30 and down, over 1.1 billion. That is a huge resource. And we need to educate these people, equip them, give them all the tools they need to bring back the glory of this continent. We can do it. We have what it takes. We just need to awaken our people. Thank you.
Why is JAP giving out scholarship to just African youths? Can you enlighten us?
Okay. Why the Joint Africa Project is giving out scholarships to the African youths only? You see, anyone can come out and say they want to change the world. I and the Joint Africa Project group, the team, everything we stand for, we are not interested in changing the world as it is. Let's change Africa. When we change Africa, Africa can now make its major contribution to the world. Beyond giving out resources, our resources are being stolen, by the way. We're not giving anything. Beyond all that, what we want to do, or what we want to do at the Joint Africa Project, is these scholarships will handpick just young Africans. We are only interested in building Africa for now. Other continents have been developed way past Africa. Even India we see as a poor nation, they are not poor anymore by that global index of poverty. Their people are developing. Technology is becoming the equalizer. China is not there anymore. China is becoming a superpower, if not a superpower already. So we can get our people there through education. This is why we are giving out these scholarships. We look for the brightest young people, not just people who can read and write, but people who have technical skills. We look for them. We find them from remote areas, villages, cities, wherever they are. Once we find them, we finance them. We give them everything they need. We prep up their mindsets. We tell them and show them who they are. Send them out there. Let them get all the wisdom and all the knowledge. Come back to Africa and build this place. This is a long-term project, and we are going to make it happen by the grace of God.
Okay, sir, please can you tell us the vision for African continent?
You see, my vision for the African continent and the vision of the Joint Africa Project for the African continent is beyond educating our people.
Okay.
The vision is to enlighten our people, equip them, bring them back, have them be in position of leadership so they can be the people who can transform this continent. If you look at our past leaders, there is a video we created for the Joint Africa Project where we said that our past leaders failed not because of their vision, but because of their ignorance. You see that the people who have been leading us for a long time, they are usually the dullest amongst us. The worst of us have been the people leading Africa. So anyone from outside can come and influence them, can twist their thinking. Someone who is dull, if you tell them, listen, I've made you a head over your people and I can take it any moment, they will quiver in fear and say, yes, master. So what we are still suffering as Africa is what we call neo-colonialism. The olden days colonialism is gone, but there is still a subtle colonialism going on. So they get the worst people amongst us to be the leaders. And if we've had bright people, smartest people amongst us to become leaders, they will be competing with them over there. If anybody from anywhere says this, they say, I understand your trick. I know where you're coming from. I know the game you're trying to play. It becomes a game of chess. When you make a move, I make a move. When you from wherever you are make a move, me from Africa or wherever, anywhere in Africa, Nigeria, South Africa, Rwanda, Kenya, Uganda, we make our move. And once we have the brightest of us coming together to lead us, they can now create a synergy. There's something I've realized: people who are not bright and dull, they find it hard to work together. They don't understand team spirit. If you put people who are not bright together, what they are going to do is they are going to compete with each other and tear themselves down. But if you bring bright people together, you see teamwork. They now realize, I cannot do it all alone. This person, you have your part, I have my part. Then once we do that together, we build that tower or we build that building. So we want to find these young people. The goal is not just educating them, but to bring them back home. And over the years, over the next 5 years, over the next 10 years, over the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, they find themselves at the helm of affairs. And then they can make policies that will protect and preserve the African people, her resources, and her glory. Thank you.
Do you have any words of encouragement for the African youths and Africans in general, sir?
Words of encouragement. Okay. I think I have something to tell the Africans. Africans should understand something. Africans are extremely bright people. Don't believe the lie that you are black monkeys, that you are less, that you are not capable. Africans have bright inventors, just that they keep getting silenced in the world. So I am talking to you, African youth. I'm talking to you, my dear friends, brothers and sisters from wherever you are, from Nigeria to Rwanda to South Africa to Kenya to Uganda, wherever you are, sub-Saharan African, wherever. It doesn't matter. Understand that you are the key to this change we are talking about. Understand that you are bright, you are smart. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You have same brain as any other person out there. In fact, can I even shock you? You are tougher. You can withstand anything. That's why we've not died. So many times they've tried to reduce our numbers because we are exploding, but nobody can change that. We are blessed by God. The problem we've been having over the years is that some people believe that the resources we have, we don't deserve it, that we shouldn't have it. That's why someone will call Africa their farmland. Can you imagine that? So my young African parents, there is hope. As you are traveling and leaving the shores of Africa, remember home. Remember you will come back here with all that wisdom and knowledge and rebuild this place. We don't have any other place to call home. Look at the West, look at every other place. Chaos everywhere. If you train your children there, they lose their African heritage. We only have this place. So please understand that we don't have any other place. This is our home. This is our future. We don't have to leave our people to keep going through the pain of going through the Mediterranean Sea, Sahara Desert, dying in numbers. Even when they go to places like North Africa, they are killed because of their skin color. We don't have to go through that anymore. The next couple of decades is extremely bright, my friends and brothers. Don't lose hope. We're getting there. Africa is rising. Africa is waking up. Wake up as well. Let's do this together. And together, we are going to restore the glory of this continent. You see, if you watch that movie they call, that movie again about Wakanda? Wakanda is possible, and we are going to get it done by the grace of God. Thank you.
Wow, I believe we've all been enlightened on what Joint Project Scholarship is all about. Thank you.